morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this finds you. Whether you're coming in live in the chat or sometime afterwards. Good morning. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thanks, Blake. Gotta take care of one thing quick. Come here, Augie. Come here. What's this? Alrighty then. Fraser, good to see you. It's a roll call, huh? Ryan, be the first one in, waiting at the door when I arrived. Him and Roger, amongst others. Good to see you. Hoos, what's going on? Bright morning, bushy-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, bright, bushy-eyed tailed. Victor, good to see you. Laramie, Wayne, morning. Mr. White, good to see you. William, good turnout, alrighty. There's the Blake man. Jeffrey, good to see you, buddy. Todd, Fraser, Tyler, good to see you. Gabe, thanks for chiming in, buddy. Tiffany, good to see you. It's been a little while, I think. Good to see you. Tad, Orcus Dorcas. Look at this guy. This guy. He's on time. I don't understand this. What are you doing? Go check out Orcus Dorcas. Let's do a little shout outs. I think it's contribution, not contribution. It's recognition day, I think. That's what we're going to call this. Recognition day. So let's start at the top. Who am I missing? Let's see. If you have something going on, put a hands up, raise your hand emoji. But before you do that, let me see if I can make sure I nail everybody, okay, first. So if I miss you, I apologize. Let's see, Roger, he runs games on our Discord server. Hasbro Games, Hasbro. If you want to play some games, Roger's running some on our Discord. Let's see. Wayne has his own publishing shop, and the name always escapes me. I should pull up the Discord server. So he publishes some old school stuff, zines and things of that nature. Title of the company on drive-through, Wayne. So check out what he's got going on with his partner. Let's see, Blake, Don't Pay the Ferryman, under Blake Ryan on drive-through RPG, amongst a couple others. Okay, who else? Let's see. Laramie, I will call out Laramie because he does a lot of work for Frog God Games. So if Frog God Games does well, then Laramie has stuff to do outside of everything else that he does. So there you go. Todd Crapper, Broken Ruler Games. So Todd's got quite a few games out there. I'm a particular fan of The Deal, which is I gotta say, I mentioned it's a LARP, but it's a LARP unlike any other. It's like a poker game. If Quentin Tarantino filmed a poker game for a movie, okay, I'll just say that. Fraser, Swords Edge Publishing, right? Fraser. So Nefertiti Overdrive, amongst some other things in his repertoire. Let's see. Gabe, Analytic Dice, along with his own, he's put out a couple modules, supplements, adventures it's compatible with the Conan 2D20 game. So for folks that aren't familiar with Mr. Dibbing, he is a big fan of Robert E. Howard, if you will, and is a big fan of the Conan 2D20 game. So if you have Let me know the title of your org, Gabe. Like some of these, like I know Gabe. I don't need to know his I don't need to know his company, but other people might. So let's see who else. Orcus Dorcas, so Titterpigs RPG podcast, and also Orcus Dorcas RPG Shenanigans here on YouTube. That's not just like what he goes by, but it's actually his YouTube channel. So Scott does quite a few unboxings and reviews over there, so check out his stuff. Wayne's coming back with Kismet Games. Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, right. Didn't know that about Laramie. Thought it was just an awesome guy. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, the more you know, right? Blake's RPG Zone. He's both at Blake's RPG Zone. Got it. Thanks, Ryan. Did I miss anybody? Podcast. Anybody arrive late that didn't chime in and I didn't know you're in here and should shout out. Sometimes we get some latecomers. I haven't done that in a while, so I should have probably prepped a little better. I could probably plop their links in the chat. I'll put them down below if I remember correctly. I'll put links to those guys below, along with some other folks that I know that have been here, and maybe they just couldn't make today. So exciting. Today is going to be no question. Well, actually, I will put out a question of the day. It's going to be for the theme of the show, if you will, or the stream today. So we're going to cover the 2024 Ennies. So if you've already submitted your voting and your votes, then great. If you haven't, that's fine. I don't think it's closed yet. Please tell me it hasn't closed. So with that, we're going to go through all the Ennie nominee categories, and I'm going to pick my personal choices. And if you could certainly chime in with yours. I was going to do a kind of a, hey, here's the category, here's the nominations, pick yours, and then tally them all up and we could see what it looks like. Kahoot, who is it? Somebody recommended Kahoot. Might have been Hoos or Tad. I don't remember. I apologize. I paid for the student version. What I tried to do would not work with that version. So I upped it to a single month of personal. I don't know. Still couldn't do what I wanted it to do. So of course, in order for me to do what I wanted to do for a single day, it would cost me a year subscription. So it's just, there's very few out there that just don't. Oh, you want to do like one of those things? Well, then it's going to cost you like $80 or whatever. It's just not. It wasn't worth it. So whatever. So publisher, we're going to go with the final question usually of the Ennies is your favorite publisher of the year. The 2024 Ennie Award for Publisher of the Year. And it has like 100 and just a ton of publishers. So if you have a publisher of the year that you have voted for or are going to vote for or would vote for if you were going to vote for the 2024 Ennie Publisher of the Year, what would it be? Capitalism, indeed. And Ryan's right. You can find a lot of these folks in their creative corners in our Discord if you're a Discord user. Laramie's going with Frog God Games. All right. Very well. Good job. Laramie's a fan. Runs a butt ton of Castles and Crusades. but does a lot of work for Frog God Games. Second is probably the Merry Mushmen. All right, sweet. Shout out. Tyler says, if I recall, my top vote was Free League. All right, respectable vote. Wayne, Free League. Okay. Shocker, he says. Gabe, no surprise here. Modifius, okay. We if you've spent some time with some of these individuals, some of these things may not come as a total surprise. It's kind of what they're alluding to. Some of you may know that from just hanging out in the chat over all this time. So no worries. It's all good. You never know. You never know. Because I can tell you, the Any Awards is not, for me, they're not all Free League picks. I know. Crazy. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's not for me. So if people were like, I'd tune in, but I know it's just going to be the Free League show for Sean. Yeah, you would be surprised. You will be surprised. Maybe. Todd says, haven't been paying as much attention this past year with everything else going on, but my hope is always is that a small indie publisher with great customer relations has a shot to win. Well, there you go. Blake says Free League. It can be way too easy to win when we have payroll. Well, that's true. That's true. Tad, Exalted Funeral, which is an interesting one, right? Because they're kind of in that indie space. They represent a lot of indie people, publishers, right? Like contributors, designers. I don't even know, or maybe their partnership. Because Exalted Funeral to me originally was more of a distributor, right? And now they're very much involved with like getting the game out, right? Dolmenwood and amongst others, OSE. It's kind of a weird space that they're in. Orcus Dorcas says, overall, for how they support their creators and contributors and also how they support their fans, it will always be Goodman Games for all of that on top of their content. They check all the boxes. Look at that for Dorcas. Goodman Games, definitely worthy of a mention for sure. Wayne says, Arcane Library, Mushmen, and Exalted Funeral are all up there. It'd be hilarious if on awards night, the best publisher award goes to Doug. and some guy no one's heard of takes the stage and the RPG subreddit explodes in rage. That would be, I would pay to see that. I would vote for Doug just for Doug, or whoever it is. Sheila, who knows? Michael, good to see you, Michael. Good morning. Finally dragged my butt out of bed. Been a long time. Good to see you. So I'm going to go over the NEs today. I'm going to go through them. It's the whole show. The NE Awards, categories, spotlights, things of that nature, my picks. And if you voted, great. But the question of the day, since it's Spirit of the NEs, is if you were to vote for your publisher of the year, well, who would it be? And the funny thing is Publisher of the Year is literally the widest open category. They just list all of them, that they could think of. Ryan West says, I second Orcus's comment. Doug for the win. I vote for Chaos over anything. I think we should have a write-in. Should we do a write-in? We can't write in, can we? Is there a write-in? I thought there was a write-in. Maybe not. Now Goodman's getting some traction. Orcus, you are great. Correct. Goodman is great. So with the NEs, it is, Brett and I, when we did Gaming and BS RPG podcast, I interviewed, oh my God, I see his face. He's from Indiana, and now I'm like spacing it. What in the hell is my problem? Hans. Hans's last name. Hans Ennis. Oh my God. What is Hans's last name? Sorry, Hans. What am I doing? At least I get your first name. Age. I'm blaming everything from here on out on age. I could just find out and then do a search on my website. Gruber. No, you doorknobs. It's not Gruber. It's. Let me see. Plot. Where, any words? Oh, you know what? It's probably a bonus BS. That's why. But no, you guys are terrible. Not that. And I've played with Hans Cummings. See, beat you guys to the punch. So Hans at the time was kind of the person that ran a lot of the things for the Annie Awards. Like he was I can't remember his official title, but he gave us some insight into how the Annie Awards works. You know, how the submission process works, the judges, how many games they have to review. It's an undertaking. I don't know. People want to be a judge for the Annies. I would be completely overwhelmed. But hey, thanks to the folks that do step up and decide to like gloss over hundreds of different products. God, you guys are something else. So anyways, to mention that, if you want to know, here, actually, I don't know if this will play. Let me see something. Hold on. Yeah. The Gaming ABS website's got to be it's got to be turned on its head. Anyways, if you're interested in that, go to gamingnbs.com. It's the bonus BS episode. It's the first bonus BS episode we ever did. It was 001. We recorded on April 23rd, 2015. Okay, so 2015, man, 9 years ago. Wow. And it'll tell you a little bit more about the Annie Awards. Now, with with most award things, shows, whatever it is, there is a method on which recognition is bestowed upon the nominations and who's nominated and the submission process and what the criteria is and all that. I don't want to get into all that. For the most part, I will say this. With the Annie Awards, they've been around. They derived from Ian World. It's fun to see the Annie Awards transition over time, because back in the day, it would be the WotC show, the Paizo show. Now it's not so much like main huge corporate, Paizo's corporate, I guess. I don't know. It's not the big conglomerates that are just taking it all. Some would say Free League is up there, right? If you start getting into a huge, big staff in RPGs for RPGs. I mean, WotC's staff is probably on the RPG side, probably the biggest, but even then they do a lot of freelancers and things of that nature, right? So it's like, what is a big RPG shop? But I digress. Some will say that, they don't matter. Some will say that it's just a popularity contest. I'm not here to debate any of that stuff. Although, I mean, there's a submission process. There's a panel of judges. They go through, they come up with the nominations, and then the winner is literally chosen by the amount of people that vote for that particular product or that category. Okay, so that it's just is what it is. Some would say that because of that method, the more popular your product is, the more recognition, more people that know it. Therefore, if they're going to vote for something they know, it's inevitable that product may bubble up to the top and take a gold or silver Annie, right? It happens. For those that don't think that Annie Awards matter, I would say that that's probably not the case, because one of the things that I appreciate about the Annie Awards themselves is that there are products that I haven't heard of before that do get nominated, that do come to the attention of us. So they get spotlight and buzz. And there's some of you that are like, oh yeah, man, I bought that game. It's fantastic. It's just not on every billboard or Discord server. And it depends on the circles that you run in and things of that nature online, where it could be very, very popular, multi-million-dollar Kickstarter, crowdfunder, whatever. And your little corner doesn't know anything about it. So it does get a little bit of exposure, which I think we could all appreciate. Okay. So there you go. Anyways, what's up, Harrigan? Good to see ya. So your favorite, going over the Annies today, shocker. And if you could, if you have nominated or if you voted for your 2024 any gold for Publisher of the Year, who would it be? Did he happen to give insight on how they decide on mind-bogglingly incorrect categories? Yeah. Well, so the category that you may be referring to, Orcus Dorcas, was not around when he was involved. I don't think Hans is involved with them much anymore. So, good morning, Joe. Good to see you. We should be suggesting new categories for next year. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's WotC, White Wolf, Paizo, maybe one or two I'm missing. Then there's everyone else. Yeah, White Wolf, or is White Wolf still a thing, or is it the who took over? Is it Renegade? I don't know. I say that the NEs don't matter to me. Well, maybe. I don't know. Does it? They don't at all. Awards based on popularity. It's never been done before. Yes, I know. Sense the sarcasm in Wayne. See, I know Wayne, so I can decipher his text appropriately. Yeah, the nominations alone get me shopping. There you go. Testimonial right there, Victor says. They should just take Victor's blurb right there and plaster it on, like in the quote down below on the website. Todd says, I've been nominated 3 times, won twice, with one of them being a judge's spotlight that doesn't get a nomination straight to win. There are ups and downs to all possible outcomes. Well, there you go. There we go. We have an Any Award winning designer publisher in the chat. 2025 Best Digital Content Streamer AP that may or may not be digital or streamer or an AP. That could be a podcast or a blog. We don't know. Just one. Choose one category. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why with the popularity of streaming, I mean, didn't like streaming go to like the Deanna Jones Award like one year, like streamers or something, right? Like streaming it's impacted the hobby, just like crowdfunding. Like crowdfunding could be, a big shtick, right? Not maybe for a category, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to do streaming, have its own thing, right? What is a stream? Well, it's pretty easy. It's got to be a live content for X amount of time or longer. And I don't know, they have to have more than 10 streams within the last year. As long as it's more than 80% of its content has to do with RPGs, there's the criteria. And then that fits the category, and then you judge it based on like audio quality, video aesthetic, production value, whatever, right? Same with an podcast. Instead of it's very easy. Podcast, same criteria, just no visual. So I don't know. I don't know why they don't do it. One argument would be, at least for podcast category, maybe there's too many, but when somebody say there's too many RPGs, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I don't think it would be out of line to have best blog, right? Written RPG blog, audio podcast. Although with audio podcast, then you get into okay, well, is it actual play or is it commentary, right? EM World had their 2 split, and they did that every year. Who knows? Nominated 4 times. Correction, Todd says. Renegade and Onyx Path. That's right. Good to know. Okay, got it. Good to know. Thanks, Blake. It used to be that the categories were created after they had products to categorize. That's why some categories change each year. Oh, interesting. The more you know. Conversations here, Beaslandia, is the whole sum and total extent of what I'll know about the NEs every year. Okay. Actual Play won the DG award, I think. Yeah. I think it was actually Tyler. Yeah. Tyler crushing the knowledge. Blogs are a bit old. Might as well have best email distribution list. Well, I don't know about that, man. I mean, they may be old, but they're still around. They're still good. Some of them are. Hey, for those RPG bloggers, the opinions of Blake Ryan do not exactly reflect the opinions of me and my show. Jared Rasher, amongst others. Just saying. The thing is about blogs is you can't put a random table on a podcast. Sorry, Sean. Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, you could do it and then put it as a result, and they could just like skip around until they hit one randomly, and that would be the result. Blogs, I think, in RPGs are like the books. Like, books are old, but we still use them. Setting categories isn't hard. The crit awards went a little overboard with the amount they had, but they did divide them up really well. Mr. Hobbs. All right. I would consider the Alexandrian a blog, and it's full of useful info. For sure. As a matter of fact, he got nominated this year. For 2 things, I think. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into this. Because we don't have a lot of time to get through all of the things, right? So, yeah, let's do it. All right. So, my take on what I'm about to go through are my personal picks and choices. Some make absolutely no sense. There's no criteria. It's just, I like you. Want to be my friend? Some of these things I couldn't choose because I don't have the product. Like best layout, how do I determine whether it's the best layout unless I actually own the product? So it's always interesting to me about those particular ones. But if I own a product in the best layout category, well, and I only own one of those out of 4 or 5 or 6, whatever, how many nominations are in that category. I mean, I think most of us would vote for the one we know. So some of these are very much based on that criteria. Other criteria I've used is, very subjective. Would I use it? Would I pay for it? Do I think it is worthy of a gold or silver? I did not do gold or silver. I should have probably done that. I just went over my top picks. All right. So this is, I think all of these, first of all, props to anybody that puts out anything creatively in the RPG space. It is not easy. Everybody should be recognized for the effort to sit down, create something, come up with a rule set, come up with a setting, come up with the details that goes into this. And some of you have done this. And many of you enjoy it, I would hope. But there's challenges and there's critics out there, and whether you're doing it for profit or fun, like there's a lot of different levers and knobs that are turning for the reason that you do it. But let's just admit, it is not something that is very simplistic, that somebody can just sit down and knock it out. Even one-page RPG events that occur once a year, twice a year, putting something together on a single page, an entire RPG is not easy. So with that, it should go without saying that anybody who's creating anything in the RPG space that is, I think, constructive to the positive, being a positive contributor to the hobby should all be recognized in one way, shape, or form. Whether I buy the product or not it shouldn't matter to the creator, I guess, kind of what I'm trying to, it probably matters, but because I don't purchase your product doesn't mean that you should not get recognized for putting it out and doing a good job. Okay. Just want to say that. Okay. So thank you for all creators within the space, because without you, it'd be pretty boring. All right. Let's get this thing on. Let's get this thing going. All right. First up, best adventure long form. So I don't have all the details of like we went over this last week, but Orcus Dorcas was like, what's the difference between long form versus short form? So long form is more campaign. Short form is, a single session, right? 4 to 8 hours. So best adventure long form: Call of Cthulhu Against the Static, Delta Green, God's Teeth, Heckna Campaign Book, Devil's Bridge, and The Bloom. So this one, this is one of those where it's like, well, I don't own The Bloom, I don't have the Devil's Bridge, I don't have Heckna Campaign Book, I have Call of Cthulhu, but I don't have Alone Against the Static. So literally, out of all these, I own literally one of the products. So I gotta go with God's Teeth, right? I'm a Delta Green fan. I'm going with God's Teeth. I actually own it. Thumbs up. God's Teeth easy win, says Orcus Dorcas. Or breaking news: Sean doesn't have unlimited funds, right? Thanks, Fraser. I appreciate it. All right. Mr. Hobbs, The Bloom. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here. There really is. Anyways, okay, moving on. Best adventure short form: Eat the Reich, Losing Face by Pelgrim Press, Eat the Reich by Rowan, Rook, and Deckard, One Shot Wonders, Roll and Play Press, The Well of All Fear, Miskatonic Repository, and then Vineyard RPG, The Undead Gala. I don't own any of these, and I'm not sure on the target audience. Like, Miskatonic Repository is obviously called Cthulhu. I have it, but I don't run a ton of it, and so this one I gotta pass. I gotta abstain from a vote on this category. It just wouldn't feel right, just kind of blindly picking one and boop. Eat the Reich, I know a lot of people are appreciate it. Obviously, there's Roger for it, Hobbsies, Tyler. So definitely good stuff. So yeah, I would definitely want to share your guys' opinion. Tyler was like big one on God's Teeth. Eat the Reich because it's Wonderfully Wild by Michael. Because I do want to hear what your guys' takes on this are, right? Cat Clay deserves the win, but Eat the Reich is literally a fancy one-shot. Shambot, no skin in the game, right? All right, ready? Next one. I'll take it a little slower so you guys can chime in on your particular one. Shambot says pass. Yeah, he's with me. Get in this boat. Next one. Best aid / accessory. As a matter of fact, did I put in the link to the Ennies? I probably did not. There, I'll put it in the chat again. I think I started the chat with it, but just in case you want to follow along and you wanted to click on some of these links. So if you go to that link that I just put in the chat, you can go over to the Ennie Awards and then you can click on each of these products in the orange title and it'll take you to their product page that you can look more closely at it. So here we go. Best Aid Accessory Digital. So it's the Fantasy Complete 4 by Monument Studios. Hexroll 2E, pen, dice, and paper. So Hexroll I brought up on the stream one day because it would help me with my West Marches, or if you're going to run a West Marches or a Hex Crawl type game. Historica Arcanum, Empires of the Silk Road soundtrack album. So I haven't been able to, I bet you it probably sounds fantastic. Like soundtracks in the RPG space, if they're thematic, rarely are bad. I mean, they're all great. I just don't have it. I haven't listened to it. So Legend Keeper by Legend Keeper and Algorific. And then the Zone RPG digital version, Laughing Kaiju. So we've got Hobbs Hexroll. After seeing it last week, Hexroll got my vote. Tyler says, pass this one. Never used any of these before. I blame Sean for my vote, Hexroll. I've been generating a map every day since he talked about it. It's pretty cool, right? Roger French, Hexroll. Victor, I have no idea what anything is in the aid accessory category. Okay, fair enough. Nothing wrong with not knowing. Well, I think everybody's going to know what I've probably voted. Shambot, he's going to pass. Never used any. Okay. Excuse me. I went with Hexroll, second edition. I think it's a great tool. It's really specific. Like if you're going to run a hex crawl and you want some stuff that's generated and have a lot of relationships within that, it's invaluable. You got to take a look at it. Even if you don't use it specifically, like here is the map and here's everything, you could literally just generate something, drill in on a hex, and if something's there, all the text is on the left-hand side. You just pull it out and put it in a OneNote or a Notion page and use it for your own campaign. It's great. So there you go. Oh, Purple Sorcerer's website all the time. I think he's been nominated, right? John? Once again, blank paper doesn't get a nomination. Todd, oh boy. Blank paper. Digital accessory, sir. Digital. Let's see. Next one. Best aid accessory non-digital. See, now this is where paper would be, Todd. Just you got to know the difference between digital and non-digital. First one up, Arkham Investigator's Wallet. Okay, so this is a cool category because usually it's got some really kick-ass props. Like this is like in my opinion, it's like the prop category. So if you haven't checked this out, they are pretty cool. Arkham Investigator's Wallet is literally a leather wallet filled with different things. You might say, well, I don't know about this thing, Sean, but it looks cool. The H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, I have the Massive Nyarlathotep box set. It's fantastic, but it is for that entire campaign, which is great. The Arkham Investigator's Wallet is also very well done. I mean, it has currency in it. It has business card. It has all kinds of things you would have in a wallet that you could put in a Call of Cthulhu game. I don't think it's centric to anything. I think it does come with one adventure, like a single one shot that it's probably to be used with. So it's cool. And if you run that adventure scenario, great. Atlas by Moonlight Maps is a lot of online maps, virtual maps. You could buy them and print them. They send them to you. There's a ton of them. Epic Encounters Local Legends Tavern Kit. That's another really cool one where it's like, here's a bunch of tavern examples and things of that nature. The Hex Crawl Toolbox, if you haven't seen that one, it is literally a yellow box that has hexes in it. And it's like a Settlers of Catan, but it's for RPGs. And the hexes are fairly big. Like you could just start popping them on the table. Very cool. Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, the Book of Nod Deluxe Artifact edition. I don't know if I actually went to that one. I think I did. I'm sure I did. And it had one kind of picture, but I could, there was a bunch of things involved in that. And then there's the list. So they probably could have taken a better picture of all the things that are part of that. But if you're a Vampire the Masquerade fan, that's probably a no-brainer for you, right? So, this one was an interesting one. I was a little torn on which one to go with. So, and I don't own any of them. Hexcrawl Toolbox, you might think, well, Sean's around West Marches. He's done Call of Cthulhu. Props are really cool in Call of Cthulhu. I don't play Vampire. And Tavern Kit, I was kind of on the fence because, it's very centric on taverns, and that's fine. So I went with Atlas Moonlight Maps. There are a lot of maps. And it's funny because it's I'm not doing a lot of tokens and things of that nature, but you never know. They have what's nice, and I don't know if it's specifically to Moonlight Maps. No, it's just their whole site. They have science fiction maps. So if you wanted to run a Star Wars, Alien, Traveler, some of those games, which I think there's tons of resources for fantasy maps. Paizo has a ton of them. There's a lot of digital ones. They also provide ones for VTT. So I liked a lot of what they offer, and it's a huge, they have a great selection. So I went with Atlas. There you go. Don't judge me. All right. Wallet, HPLHS will always win this category if they are in it. It's just like unbelievably awesome, cool. Like it is literally like if you put that wallet on the table, you would think your players, like you went up into your great grandfather's attic and like found it. It's so fantastic. So authentic, pretty much. Hex Crawl Toolbox for Shambot. If they just rebrand Hexpaper as Hexpaper 2.0, problem solved. Todd Crapper, I'd be inclined to nominate Book of Nods solely because of the renegade folks who worked on it, but their president is a dink. It's like putting an asterisk on the athlete who uses steroids. And there are people who have started the project, were let go, and they don't get their names on the project for some reason. Dink alert in full swing there. Okay, there you go. What's weird about the Vampire the Masquerade one is it's props for a prop book. It's meta, man. It would be fun to leave that wallet in a lost and found somewhere. It's not cheap. I think the wallet's like $100. Like the whole package was like $100 or more. You have a wallet with fake money in it that's worth $99. Like you pay $99 for. It's like paying like $100 for fake coins. Anyways, best art cover. And another thing with art. Art is a tough one, right? Like there's going to be art you enjoy that I don't enjoy, vice versa. So art is a tough one, for sure. So to put out the disclaimer that all these artists should be, like any artist in the RPG hobby that puts any time and effort into being published and doing freelance and doing good work and taking pride in their work and not using AI to do their work, like, great. So a few of them. Across the Thousand Dead Worlds by Black Oath Entertainment. Artist, and I'll put out the artist name in this category. So Across the Thousand Dead Worlds, artist is Vladimir Manyukhin, or Manyukin. Eat the Reich, artist Will Kirkby. Kariko, A Magical Year, artist Deb J.J. Lee. Not the End Stories, artist is Pietro Bestis. And then Tomorrow City Diesel Punk Role Playing, artist Biagio Di Alessandro. I don't know. I looked at them and what are you going to do? I went with Across a Thousand Dead Worlds. I really I like the look of the cover. It's a genre that makes me wonder what's going on there. Like, well, there's something there I want to check out. Not to say that the others don't necessarily. It's just one that stood out to me. I'm not, not picking on anyone specifically. I am just not a big anime fan, right? So the anime look and feel is just not something that's my personal preference. Not to say that they don't do good work, don't deserve recognition in their own space. And I know a lot of people love that, but it's just not my jam. None of the covers struck me, so went with Koriko. Art is important to the setting of the vibe for sure. And that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna, to Jeff's point, like if you're gonna put out like, hey, I have a, I want the world. I'm influenced by the Japanese, media culture, like specifically anime and, big crushing robot monsters or haiku, whatever it is, right? Kaiju, whatever it is. And you want that in your RPG, it would make sense that you would have that type of art to represent it, right? that's the target audience. That's the look and feel you want to convey. Yeah, get it. Totally, for sure. So it's just not my jam. Michael says, I like all the art covers. I love the covers for both Eat the Reich and Corico. Yeah. See, I was not a big fan of the art for Eat the Reich. It's funny because, if they chose a different art style, would I buy it? Probably. It's weird to say, but maybe. Lisa Teague is possibly the reason that project even started. Then she left the company, and her name's nowhere in the final project. Seriously? That's unfortunately, because Elisa comes to Gamehole Con. I've seen her at Gary Con. I think I talked to her for like 30 seconds by like saying hello or something to her, maybe running into her at a convention. But she's a good representative of our space. So that's an unfortunate thing to hear. Eat the Reich, Across 1,000 Dead Worlds as well, Shambot says. I'm here for the artist name and pronunciation. You're welcome. You gotta roll those R's, buddy, depending on what language you're talking. Not the N was a second pick for me. All right. Moving on. Best art interior. Not going to rehash all the disclaimers that I had mentioned. So we got Against the Fairy Queen art book. A lot of artists involved in some of these, right? Multiple artists. So for Against the Fairy Queen art book, Rafa Giso, Geraldo Prado, Tom Trengrove, Angus Martin, Darren Ozturk. There is Astrofauna Expeditions, artist Sarah Dahlinger. Then there's Eat the Reich, which is Will Kirkby. Ultraviolet Grasslands 2E by Luka Rajcic. And I think Luka's name is like Rajcic. Anyways, I apologize, Luka. And then Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum Core Rulebook Collector's Edition. Title. Artists Helge Balzer, Alberto Bontempi, Simon Carr. That's going to be a tough one. Bartolomei Fredzak. Oh, man. Runasale Flynn. Runasale Flynn. Wesley Gardner, Mark Grunert, Tom Hutchings, Danielle Kovacs, Sam Manley, J.G. O'Donoghue, Christian Elias Perez, Aurelia Prandal, Aaron Rea, and Felix Tisch. So there's a lot there. Tad says, got to be Ultraviolet Grasslands for me. Shambot says, Ultraviolet Grasslands. Ryan says, I'm sad not to see any Monty Cook stuff listed in the art. Top two for me would be Against Fairy Queen and Astrofauna. Evil Merlin, good to see you. Warhammer. It's all Warhammer. Warhammer! Mr. Hobbs, Luca, all day, every day. Rayets. That's what it is. Thanks, Hobbsy. Rayets. Gotta go out, paint room. All right. Thanks, see you, Fraser. I have not seen the interior art for any of these, but I like Luca's style, so I'd probably go with their book. Orcus Imperium Maledictum, it reflects the best feeling of what the game is about, the most aptitude. Okay, all right. For me, I had to pass. I just don't have... Some of the shots on their web, on the product pages, do share some of the interior art shots, but I don't own a lot of the products, and yeah, I don't know. I abstain. Sorry, interior artists. Good luck. Next one. Best cartography. Alien RPG, Building Better Worlds by Free League. Atlas, Moonlight Maps, who I liked for the non-digital product. Border Writing by Stout Stoat Press. Dragonbane Core Set by Free League. And then Hexcrawl Toolbox. That's that toolbox that I mentioned. That also the non-digital product by Games Omnivorous. You guys might be surprised at one I picked on this. Shambot says Warhammer's a second pick. Very moody. He's saying about the prior category. Okay, the next category boggles my mind why it doesn't have its own gallery. Also, it's absurd. Yeah. Yes. Dragonbane, love the style and detail. Dragonbane by Tyler. Shambot says Dragonbane. Orcus Dorcas. With that, the Dragonbane map for the win. Dragonbane map is fab. Border writing piqued my interest a lot. Dragonbane's quite popular, too. Like, it's got quite a bit of steam, I think. There's a lot of folks mentioning Dragonbane and liking it quite a bit as a game. I went with border writing. Yeah, I went with border writing. Just say no to ducks. It was between border writing and Dragonbane. I like the Dragonbane map, but I liked border writing because it's quite a bit different than what I typically see. And it's like a map making, like, isn't it a map making game? Border writing? Isn't it part of that? And I do kind of like the aesthetic. It's a weird aesthetic. It's like, how do I put it? For me personally, it's like, I'm not sure it'll taste good, but I drink it and it kind of grows on me. If that makes sense. Getting all like vibey, man, like very artsy, dude. Yeah, it looks really nice, right? Victor says I'd go with Dragonbane on this one. Alien has a cool theme, but some of those maps are not clear enough for me to use. Hobbs says I lean Hexcrawl. It's okay to waste your vote, Sean. It happens. Ha ha ha. Orcus Dorcas. Border writing looks beautiful and usable. Yeah. I think both are really good. Border writing and Dragonbane. It could be like gold, silver, right? So now the trick is like how, my votes and some of those come up in the actual results. It'd be interesting. Looks like a slightly abstracted real map notations. Yeah. I only vote for Glenn in this category. He's not in this, is he? Glenn? No. I don't think Glenn's in it. But yes, Glenn. Glenn Seeley from Monkey Blood Designs has won Best Cartography in the past. Is what Hobbsy's referring to. He's good stuff. All right. I told you. 2 Free League products. I went rogue. Keep you guys on your toes. Got to keep an open mind here. Best community content. Call of Cthulhu Lost Hobos and the Wolves are Carcosa. So these are typically like there's 1, 2 DMs Guild and 1, 2, 3 Miskatonic Repository. So Miskatonic Repository, for those that aren't familiar with that, Miskatonic Repository is to Call of Cthulhu that DMs Guild is to D&D. Okay, so it's folks that write scenarios for Call of Cthulhu and publish them. Yeah, there you go. So there's the next one. Is This a Curse by DM's Guild? Okay, so if it's DM's Guild, it's going to be D&D based. Like it's going to have it's for 5e or a D&D game. The Huang Fu Heist, Neo Tokyo project for DM's Guild. The Last Dance of Lola Montez, the Call of Cthulhu Modern Adventure. And then The Well of Fear for Miskatonic Repository. I kind of took a stab at this one. Ooh, excuse me. And I'm not sure. I think I just picked the one that I think I would buy and run for this particular scenario, reading the descriptions of them. I mean, not being big 5e as much anymore. I went with The Well of All Fear by Cat Clay. So if you want to know more about that one, check it out. I think the year takes place 1833, I believe. So, yeah. Victor says, I pass on this category. I have not seen any of these. Orca says, I voted Los Hobos. Love Alex. He's a good friend, and it's the most deserving. But Cat Clay is well loved by MR and will win it. Los Hobos and the Wolf of Carcosa for Shambot. Okay. Very good. Very cool. Whoops. Let's see. All right. Next one. Best family game product. So I don't have family. So this, I am not the target audience. When I say family, it's like, kids, things of that nature. So first one, Break, tabletop RPG for Grey Wizard Press and Naldobian Games. Next one, If I Were a Lich by Hit Point Press. Next one, Little Game Masters by Randall Hampton, art and design. Lots of other authors listed there. My Little Pony role-playing game limited core book. And then the last one, Pine Box Middle School box set by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. So this one comes down to like, well, what is most likely one I would run or play. I'm going to go with Pine Box Middle School box set by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. So we mentioned this on stream one time, I think, when it was about to kickstart or after crowdfund. After or before the campaign, I don't recall. But it was, it's hopping on the, the Stranger Things vibe, if you will. So, and Savage Worlds. So I thought I would go with this one. A little bit closer to me. Anyway. Tyler says, I think I voted Pine Box. Orcas Dorcas voted Pine Box, but it's not cutesy wootsy, so it may not win. With that, everyone vote Pine Box. We'll be hanging with Scott during the Annies and would love to see him win it. And we hang with Scott Woodard? Oh, nice. Break looks cool for me. Break from way back on G+. Pass, I don't know enough. Yeah. All right. Very good. Best free game / product. Everybody loves free. Heckin' Good Doggos. Someone's Last Day at the Track by Wet Ink Games. There you go, dog lovers. Level 1, the free RPG Day, Indie RPG Anthology 2023 9th level games. That was a hard one to understand. Like, I couldn't understand what that was, like what was all included in that, unfortunately. Losing Face by Pelgrim Press, it's Kevin Culp. Losing Face has gotten nominated a couple times, and I should say that Kevin won for Swords of the Serpentine, like for best game, I think, right? Like last year. So that's a scenario for that game. Mazes, Zero Prep Introduction to Fantasy Role-Playing by 9th Level Games. Rivers of London, The Domestic by Chaosium. Kevin's on tap to be interviewed for my new podcast project soon. Oh, nice. I still remember the first time I met that guy. Just super nice. I've followed him ever since I met him. I got into a cab with him at Gen Con. Like, I didn't know him from a hole in the ground. And then when I was walking through the Omni, he remembered who I was from the cab ride. He was running a game. It was before Gumshoe is even out. I think it was like, I don't even think it was out yet. Like, it was a test game or test run. And I might have been for the time one that he was doing. And he's like, "Hey, Sean, come here. You what are you doing?" Like, "Nothing. Hey, sit down. Let's play." And super nice guy, man. Glad you landed him, Todd, for your project. That's great. He'll be an awesome guest. Looking forward to that. Orcus says this one just defaulted to Rivers of London. It's the same one from the core book. Losing Face gets my vote solely because of Kevin. Might have been 2 years ago. Kevin's a really great guy indeed. Heckin' Good Doggos gets the vote for Shambot. So I own none of these. The one I went with just got like, I might go out and buy this. Mazes, Zero Prep Introduction to Fantasy Role-Playing. It keeps coming across my radar. I keep stumbling across these guys. They just got done with a big Kickstarter. They use the polymorph, right? It's the polymorph system, right? Where it's like a single stat. I don't know if that I'd be a big fan of, but I am interested in how they present like the hex crawl in Mazes, their most recent campaign. And the production value looks pretty decent in the stuff that they do. So they have their own kind of game thing going on. Well, it's Mazes. That's the game. It's the brand for 9th level games. So there you go. Best free game. Sean might go out and buy this. Ha, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I'm saying like even the crowdfunding one that they just got done with. Oh, you got a Venmo? All right. Because especially with this one, I think that appealed to me was Introduction to Fantasy Role-Playing. As a free RPG product, how do they present that? And, yeah. Zero prep too, right? Like, it's a learning thing, I think. Yeah, I could learn something there. I've had the Mazes book in my hands twice at Noble Knight. I just haven't pulled the trigger because I have too many others at home that need to be played. Yeah, same here. Shambot. Okay, let's get going. Keep it rolling. We're already over time. Apologize. Best game. This is a big one. This is a big category. This one gets a lot of this. I mean, it's kind of one of the best actor, best movie awards for the Ennies. Kobolds Ate My Baby, The Orange Book, Not the End by Mana Project Studio, Outgunned by Two Little Mice, Salvage Union by Leyline Press, and Shadowdark RPG by the Arcane Library. Best game. Here Outgunned. Roger's all on Outgunned. Orcus Dorcas, All Hail King Torg. Was that from Kobolds Ate My Baby? I own 2 of these. I've only played, the only one I've played is Shadowdark. Orcus Dorcas voted Outgunned. Tyler Outgunned, but I think SD will win. I'm going Salvage Union, Shadowdark, Outgunned. In that order, Harrigan? You can only vote for 2, buddy. Okay, so Salvage Union, gold, Shadowdark, silver. Victor Wyatt for Shadowdark. Well, for me, it's going to be a no-brainer for the second one. Shadowdark will win. I went with Outgunned for gold by Two Little Mice. Shadowdark, I will go with number 2, only because I know it and run it. But the only reason I didn't want to, and frankly, I could have had one of the other games, and it would, even though I'm running Shadowdark, I might have put it below another game. And the biggest reason is, some will say it's the best game, but it's still a D20 D&D derivative. And Outgun, you could say, well, it came from Broken Compass or whatever, some of the details from that game. It's still different from many that are out there. Well, it's D6. Yeah, there's plenty of D6 pool games out there, Sean. Yeah, but it's not like the way this is set up. That would be my only problem. So it's kind of like for best game, to me, it's kind of like its uniqueness sometimes can play a role in that for me. I have to go Shadowdark, but that's only because I haven't played Salvage Union or Outgunned yet. Evil Merlin, Outgun. Hope Outgun wins. Can't consciously vote for Salvage Union because they aren't crediting their editor. Ooh, ouch. Salvage Union is an absolute gem. If you like mecha games, check it out. Current favorite of mine. And these are ranked voting. You can rank each category 1 through 5. Oh, okay, that's true. Good point. Thanks, Victor. Hobbs says Shadowdark. I think Shadowdark, yeah, it'll be a tough one. Shadowdark could be 1-2 for sure, I think, without gun. Victor does have it, yeah. All right, next one, move it on. Best layout and design. Break, tabletop RPG by Grey Wizard Press, now Bodian Games. Cyberpunk, or CBR plus PNK, augmented by MythWorks. Not the End, core book by Mana Project Studio. Shadowdark RPG, Arcane Library. And Teeth, the big robot. I went with Shadowdark on this one because it's the only one I own. And it is good layout and design, I think. Some of those other ones are probably great. This one's hard to get unless you got it. So even snapshots, you can't tell, really. So I went with Shadowdark. This is the tough one where, right, like if you're in that category and you're like, oh, I'm in the category with Shadowdark. Great. Fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Like there's just so many people that have Shadowdark. The other ones, some of them are lost on me and just heard of them today, which is great. Again, exposure, but nonetheless. And they're fantastic looking products. Shadowdark Hobbs. Victor White says Break and Shadowdark. Shanbot says Cyberpunk, once you've had that in your hands, it's amazing. Amazing. Todd Crabber, for fuck's sake, the number of times you hear about people not getting credited for work and sketchy practices from publishers is too damn common. Shambot says, I also love layout in Shadowdark. Ryan, Shadowdark and Teeth look the same. I don't own Teeth, so it's hard to say. Break for the layout. Shadowdark will win. SD may sweep the categories. Yeah, maybe, potentially. It's going to be a big year, I think, for Kelsey. Best Monster Adversary. This one was a tough one. Big Bads, EQ by Hit Point Press. Monstrous by Cloud Curio. Rune Cairn Bestiary by Odin's Beard. VR Dead, Space Penguin Inc. And then Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory Threat Assessment Xenos. I didn't know. I didn't have one. I had to pass. What are you going to do? I don't know. It's me. I don't have any of them. Haven't looked at any of them. Hit Point Press is Ottawa-based company, which is awesome. Rune Cairn by Shambot. Orca says, this is the only one I passed. Not entirely sure what this category is. I think it's like a best monster book, best, here are the best baddies that you could throw at your characters. Yep, Rune Cairn. That's why Ottawa should be known as TTRPG North. Rune Cairn, but Gus L. should win something for Monster Overhaul. Next. Best online content. So this would be the blogs. Although Dave Thomavor is in there. Thomavor. So I guess it's anything online. It's kind of, so this does not count podcasts because podcasts fall in streaming. I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh no, this is, I don't know. This is streaming. I don't know what it is. Anyways, Alexandrian, Alpha Stream, Dave Thomavor RPG Reviews. That's YouTube. Skeleton Code Machine, which is an online. I was looking at that. I was not aware of it. It looked pretty cool. I'll have to check into that a little bit more in detail. TTRPG Creator Resources Master Post. Roger says Alexandrian for him. Still talking about Monster Overhaul in the chat. Dave Thomavor, he does some Class Act reviews. Since Sean wasn't in the running, vote Dave Thomavor. Thanks, Tyler. Thomavor. These all have blogs. Oh, they do? Oh, okay. So Thomavor has written stuff. Good to know. Sure does. There you go. I went with Dave. I know he's had one bump here or there, but I checked out a couple of his videos. I don't watch a lot of YouTube like RPG YouTubers. You know, Professor Dungeon Master on occasion keeps popping up. Ben every once in a while. I think it all depends on what they're covering. Dave, I've been a little bit arm's length, but recently I watched a couple of his on Forbidden Lands, which was good. I liked it. And not because it was about Forbidden Lands and he was in favor of it, just that the way he put it together. Like, I have much respect for his style. I like how he presents and narrates and talks, and like I think it's one of the better ones out there, honestly. And what he's doing is not easy. So I got to give him props. I just hope he doesn't go south. Like, there's a couple I may be like, dude, you know, could probably present it in a little more constructive manner, but nonetheless, you know, what are you going to do? So I went with Dave. Yeah. Chamon went with Dave. Ryan went with Justin Alexander. Evil Merlin, Dave, and Alexandrian. Justin slipped out of the Jack Huazing hubbub. Yeah, well, everything's temporary if you ride it out long enough. A friend of mine showed me Dave's review of Dying Earth. His outsider take was amusing. Yeah. I think it's a hit or miss category. Like, if you're a YouTuber, it's the tricky thing. Like, if you want to cover something, I would feel like a, you know, fish out of water covering something like from like a different perspective, right? Alexandria is great, but I wanted Dave to get a win. He'll be there at Gen Con. Very even tempo. It's hard to find consistent quality content. Yeah, I'm not in the running. Yeah, everything is temporary. You just ask Hobbs. Just got to let the smoke blow over. Americans like squirrel. Got to wait for them to get hooked. The most recent thing is now the D&D sexism thing. I don't know if you guys got into that drama. So anyways, best production values: Arkham Investigator's Wallet, Hexcrawl Toolbox, Kariko The Magical Year, Outcast Silver Raiders box set, Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, the Book of Nod Deluxe Artifact edition. So these are things you can hold that are pretty cool box sets. The Investigator's Wallet is a prop, so just presentation wise. I went with this, and I don't own it. I don't own any of these. And I was kind of like, what one would I buy out of this category? What intrigues me? And I got to say, I went with Outcast Silver Raiders box set. Now, somebody would say, well, it's just a box set with 3 books, you know. But I like the premise. I like the look, the feel, what it's going for. OSR-ish, right? So, yeah, I went with that one. I feel if there's ever a Lifetime Achievement Award, Alexandria should be the first to get it. Hobbs says it looks awesome. Did you get it? Are you getting it, Hobbs? OSR Silver Raiders box set is great, but it's and the new slipcase won't have all the bits and bobs. Oh well. Hexcrawl Toolkit, that does look awesome. I'd like to actually use it sometime. Yeah, wouldn't we all? Oh, you do own it. Okay. Very cool. All right, let's go. Keep our moving, Sean Bo. Next one, best RPG related product. So these are like books about the hobby that aren't a rule book or a game, things of that nature. So first one is, it could be guides, things of that nature. So Experience Points, The Lost Chapters for Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground by Stu Horvath. If you are an RPG enthusiast and you want to know kind of about the history, there's Designers and Dragons, which is a great anthology. But Stu Horvath's book is top notch. It really is. He did such a fantastic job, and I think he pounded it out in 6 months. He told me. It's just crazy. It's like a 360-page tome or something. It is insane, and it's like all the pictures in there are from his personal collection. So it's a great coffee table book for any RPG enthusiast. So if you want to get, I don't know why I'm talking to you guys. I should be talking to your significant others and let them know, like, hey, you're not sure what cool game they'll think is cool, just buy them the book from Stu. Kobold Guide to Role Playing by Kobold Press. So that's an anthology, a bunch of different authors. I don't know if I have that one. I think I have the Guide to Game Mastering in audio form. So it's a bunch of essays on role playing. My Little Kobold plushie. So it's a plushie, obviously, by Ninth Level Games. RPG stamps. Those are pretty cool. Those are the stamps that you can like stamp on people's character sheets. They even have one of Doug Kovac's art on it. Dead, boom. So check that out. There's a lot of cool ones over there. And then say you want to be a game master, everything you need to start your tabletop adventure for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, and other systems by Justin Alexander, which I own and have. So I went with Stu's Experience Points, Lost Chapters for Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground. So I have the original book. This is kind of like it says, the Lost Chapters. So stuff he didn't put in the original, and he put it out through Exalted Funeral. So, yeah, there you go. That's what I did. What are you going to do? Harrigan says, I thought about bringing Hexcrawl Toolkit to Gamehole. Whoa. Outcast Silver Raiders by Evil Merlin for the last one. Awesome art and content. As awesome as OSR is, the box is actually a bit chintzy. Oh, that's unfortunate. Cost. It's got to be cost, right? Damn it. I thought I wouldn't end up buying anything this Saturday, but that Silver Raiders is calling me. Gotta check it out. Do it. Justin's book should win, but we all know plushies always take this category. Justin's book is too much, man. It's too much. Like, he should have changed the title. I think I brought this up before. It's just, it's a lot. Justin winning this. Is he? Okay. So you want to be a game master is really well done book. Gets my vote. Oh, man. It's dense, man. Giving Justin's book and Stu's books as gifts. Yeah, there you go. Justin Alexander's getting strong turnout. RPG stamps, folks love these at the table. They do indeed. All right, see you, Jeff. See you tomorrow, buddy. Stu's books are great. It's a history book and also large shopping list. Yeah. Can't afford. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Kevin from Analytic Dice, everybody. And Burn 2D6. So if we're shouting out some folks' creations, Salt Heart should not be unnoticed. Can't afford RPG products with how much models for Warhammer the Old World are costing me. Oh, yeah. If you're getting into Warhammer and miniatures, yep. It's good. Nice knowing you, Kev. How you gonna keep going with the podcast, man, if you're tying all your money up with Warhammer miniatures? Out of SRD material. These kids need what Justin is bringing. I don't think Justin's book is meant to be read all at once, but to be used as a reference. Is it? I don't know. It's a lot, man. It's a lot of advice, man. Next one, best rules. Action 12 Cinema plus D12 Games. Not the End core book by Mana Project Studio. Pathfinder Player Core. So here's the thing. There would be no way that I could consider Pathfinder Player Core best rules. And the only reason is it's still like 3.5, right? It's Pathfinder rules, like not knocking the game, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if there's anything new. Sean, they got rid of CMB and CMD. Come on, man. Sorry. Sean, it's much better now. Salvage Union and then Shadowdark. It's the same reason I didn't go with Shadowdark. I'm going to buy another copy of Burn 2D6 to support Kevin's Warhammer addiction. Indeed. Hobbs going Shadowdark. This is a tough category to judge fairly. That's PF 2nd edition. That's different. Oh, okay. So you don't use a D20? No, it's not D20 based. Got it. Okay, good to know. And no skills, right? Dude, get a life. They changed the action economy. Come on, dude. Who is this guy? Action 12 Cinema gets my vote. I interviewed Michael and he mentioned how high playing Samurai was a great inspiration, so he bought my vote. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Flattery will get you everywhere. Pathfinder 2E is very different from 1E. It is very different. It is? Okay, I stand corrected. Sean? Dude, they're so ignorant. What a stupid creator. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Truth. Shadowdark sweep. Shadowdark. I'm not even a huge fan of Shadowdark, but you can't deny the popularity. Rule 7, don't be a doucher. That's me, violating Rule 7. I love Paizo, but Shadowdark gets my vote. I own 2E, but never intend to play it. It's the PF Revised 2nd Edition, actually. All right, so I don't know. This one I went with. Not the end. Not the end. I don't know if it's the best rules. I don't know. Most unique. Yes. I couldn't bring myself to do a D20 based game. I just couldn't. So it was either that, it's probably not the end for me, and then I would probably go with Action 12 as silver. D12s. And Action 12 actually looks cool because it's like an action game. It's like it totally wants to go toe-to-toe with Outgunned, is my take. Shambot says I would have to go with Not the End. I don't know if I would play it, but it is an interesting take on role-playing game rules. 12 units of Burn 2D6 to sell before I hit silver on Drive-Thru RPG. I'm no NE nominee, but do offer some original mechanics. Thanks for the plug, Sean. You bet. Shadowdark has my vote. Agreed. Shambot. Ryan says, I mean, if the rules work well for what you're trying to play. Yes. Gabe says, I ordered one. Oh, he's talking to Kevin. Got it. Yeah, good luck on the silver, by the way. Can you give a brief breakdown of Not the End? Sure, I can do that. I think it's going to be pretty easy for me here because these are linked. So here, I'm not sharing because I'm sharing over it. I wonder if I can move that. Can I just move this maybe? I don't know if, yep, I can. So, Not the End. Not the End is a role-playing game that tells the adventures of heroes willing to risk everything for what they hold dear with an original game system called Hexsys. In Not the End, Each hero is described by keywords placed in a hive of hexagons, each representing one of their distinctive traits. How the hexagons relate to each other within the hive creates bonds that make each hero unique. So Not the End core book features the rules to evolve the hero, deal with the tests and crucial tests, face the end, narrate stories, and create settings. So Not the End uses Hexsys, a system created specifically for the game, which instead of using dice to resolve conflicts in dangerous situations, use tokens of different colors to represent successes and complications. Each trial the characters face will add something to the story and the game world, making the outcome of each trial unique and different from previous ones. Heroes will also be affected by the choices they make, and they will change and evolve as the story progresses. Not the End is the result of an extensive design work involving the entire Fumble team and over 100 playtesters who have played many different versions of the game in every possible setting and situation. Be ready to risk, rise, fail, and get back up. This is not the end. I don't know if that helps. There you go. Hope that helps. Check it out. All right. Next, best setting. Dead Air Seasons, World Anvil. Hekna, campaign book by Hit Point Press. Outcast Silver Raiders box set. Pathfinder Lost Omens, Tian Sha World Guide. And then The Valley of Flowers. Victor says, that sounds really cool. Yeah, it sounds interesting, right? Can I roll just a D20? Get that shit out of your obs. Well, I'm buying it now. There you go, Tim. Sean went with Lost Omens for this one. Or the with previous one? No. Well, okay. I didn't go with Lost Omens. Ha, Gabe, you're funny. You're funny, Gabe. It's a joke. It's a joke, Sean. Where am I? I lost my track. So this one, you went, Pathfinder. Haha. Yeah. He. Tian Sha's been around for a while. I mean, it may be a great setting. It's like Eberron coming out 10 years later and having it be best setting. Like, what? That was like back in 3.0. Why is now it's a best setting? Because it's like 2024? Yeah. So, Harrigan. I went with The Valley of Flowers. Yeah. Orcus says Outcast Silver Raiders defaulted, don't know the others. I really like the Dead Air setting. Valley of Flowers, actually cool. Dead Air, season second place is the Valley of the Flowers. Second place is the Valley of Flowers. Stop showing me Silver Raiders. Fine, I'll buy it. You know, Ryan. Setting Fate, you could play all of it in Fate. Yeah, there you go, Harrigan. Yeah, I went with Valley of Flowers. I like some of the stuff that it provides, and I think it'd be a good reference for some game stuff. Yeah, for sure. I might even pick that up. That looks pretty sweet. So, had I heard of it before today? Not ever. So, there you go. You're welcome. Any awards? Or you're welcome, Phantom Mill Games. Dead Air and Outcast, says Evil Merlin. Wait a minute. You are Evil Merlin, and you haven't looked at Valley of the Flowers? Come on, man. Or woman. Evil Merlin. The Valley of Flowers has got that, it's at the Arthurian. There's an Arthurian piece to it, right? It's 35% off in July. Ooh, good to know. Thanks for the tip, Ryan. Covered nicely on Between Two Karens podcast. Valley, I mean. I will have to check that out. Although I gave two Karens a roll, and I just, like, they're all talking at once, and it kind of drove me nuts. I don't know. Maybe I just got it on a bad episode. Hey, podcaster, do it. Next, best streaming content. I removed myself from this category this year, just so you know. So if you were looking for me, I refrained from being nominated. I just wanted to put that out there. That's my defense mechanism for not being recognized. I mean, come on. This is not any worthy. this. Anyways. Dice Exploder Podcast, Otherworld Hollywood, episode 24. That is very specific. Replay, Dead Ghost Productions, The Party, Swiss Squared, and William Bailey's Haunted Mansion, A Call of Cthulhu Adventure, Ballarat Heritage Festival 2024, Tales from Rat City. I feel compelled to go and actually absorb these and see truly if they're best streaming content worthy. Because if I go in there and they sound like crap and they get nominated, I'm going to be really ticked. That's all I'm saying. I mean, literally audio quality. Like, is this thing even listenable? Oh, it sounds like garbage. Why are they nominated? But hey, if they sound great, fantastic. Like, then their subject matter, whatever it is, and it appeals to somebody, super, I guess. Big shocker. I passed on this one. A lot of the nominees are on sale right now for the Ennies. Oh, good to know. Yeah, I know. What are you going to do, Shambat, right? I voted William Bailey because I felt it was the underdog. Used my vote for Friends. Recommendation, Haunted Mansion. Good to know. Yeah, I haven't heard any of it. Like, some of these pop up. I don't know. I don't know how. This category has mystified me for years. Where's Ken and Robin? Like, that's what I want to know. Where are they now? I'm not running a show. Did they specifically run when I was in Gaming MBS and just wanted to kick everybody's ass for like 6 years straight? Never heard of these. I guess we'll have to now, right? Check it out. Katsuma's streaming stuff, and these are all new to me. I'll check them out. Yeah, see? Must not be good if I've not heard of them. I'm going to get a swell of subscribers. Pass as well. I've heard none of these. Vintage RPG Podcast. BTC, yeah, for sure. Like, right? I don't know. It's so weird. Hambone and Stew, they do a good job, for sure. Good quality, good content, short form, bam boom. Like, solid. Yes, it's all about you. Well, thanks, Hobbs. I appreciate that. Finally. Write-ins. Yes. Yeah. We should start our own campaign. Like, who do we want to win? Let's go and see if we can make it happen. All right, best supplement. Here we go. Like, put in analytic dice. Right? Hey, Random Screed, Orcus Dorcas. We got our own like network here, right? Best supplement: Alien RPG, Building Better Worlds by Free League, Corpus Malicious, The Codex of Evil for 5e by Dream Realm Storytellers, Not the End Stories by Mana Project Studio, The Griffin's Saddlebag, Book 2 by Hit Point Press, and This and That Collection by Sneak Attack Press. Best podcast, Dungeon Master of None. That's a good one, Ty. All right. Shout out for them. Shambot says Building Better Worlds. So there's only one I own on this category. What are you going to do? It's my single Free League one for the whole Ennies this year. Hobbs. I don't know what any of these are. Just, hey, vote for this one, Hobbs. I'm telling you. BBW. The only one I read. Yeah. BBW by Hoos. All right. Next one, best writing. Call of Cthulhu Alone Against the Static. Cloud Empress, Land of Cicadas by World's Watt. First one by Chaosium, by the way. Kobolds Ate My Baby, The Orange Book by Ninth Level Games. Kariko, A Magical Year by Mousehole Press. And then Musketeers vs. Cthulhu by Nightfall Games. What is in Building Better Worlds? It's an alien campaign book. You could build your own campaign, essentially. So if you're not an Alien fan, then the book's going to be lost on you. I do like how editors are getting mentioned for best writing nowadays. So I, on this one, passed. I didn't have one that I could go with. I don't know. I wouldn't know which one to go with, essentially. They're all that great. Okay, couldn't decide. Would it be useful for Mothership? Ooh, that is a good question. I have not read mine all the way. Possibly. Yeah, Victor says I haven't read any of them, so I can't really vote for best writing. Cloud Empress got my vote. I really want Cam to win. All hail King Torg. Oh, it's Cloud Empress. Okay, got it. Her. I really wish that was Mouseketeers versus Cthulhu. Well, make it your own. Cloud Empress sounds cool. All right, moving on. We're almost done. Product of the year. This is the best movie of the year category for RPGs, right? Analytic Dice needs a press agent. Well, maybe they do. Although, never mind. I wonder how you evaluate best writing. Well, that's a good question, Gabe. Product of the year. Cyberpunk augmented by MythWorks, Eat the Reich, Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. Kuriko, A Magical Year, Mousehole Press, Not the End by Mana Project Studio. Outcast Silver Raiders box set by Esoteric Ludology. Outgunned by Two Little Mice. Salvage Union by Leyline Press. Shadowdark RPG, The Arcane Library. The Valley of Flowers by Phantom Hill Games, which has been brought up. So there's a lot of multiple folks that have, like, if you're in a former category, your chances of becoming product of the year is probably a little increased, it looks like, right? Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, the Book of Nod Deluxe Artifact edition. I went with Outgunned. Tyler's like, Shadowdark. Probably going to be Outgunned and then Shadowdark. That's for me, because I own those two. So what are you going to do? Harrigan defining best writing as it's most words, Gabe. Most biggest, goodest words. There you go. Again, Shadowdark will win, Eat the Reich, or Outgun Silver. Cyberpunk, it has the reusable character sheets, the whole kit, if very compact and travel friendly. Shadowdark, hands down. And that's it. The last one is Publisher of the Year, which I went with Free League. I don't know if I'll do it next year for them, but who knows? My torch is sputtering, Saltheart says. Well, it's at the end of the hour, that's why. That damn D20. Right? It just won't go away. Who's Outcast, but it will not win. By Evil Merlin. Thanks for sticking with me. It went a little longer today. I didn't expect it to take that long. Took a little more on the front end. So, So thanks for helping, sticking around. And thanks to these individuals for becoming patrons of the show at a certain level. So thank you for contributing a monthly little some gold out of the coffers over to my neck of the woods. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all of you being here this weekend. Good to see everybody. Hope all is well. And the Annie Awards. So there you go. I got to go and vote now because I haven't submitted any of them. Also, it'll be interesting what the turnout is like. I don't think I'm going to do a recap of who won. Maybe short. Maybe one for when they call them off at, Danny's. They stream them live, so check them out if you're interested. It'll be interesting. So the West Marches continues. If you ask some Ryan, Jim, Angela, who is my fourth on this past week? Who am I missing? Kevin's missing. Kevin doesn't play very often. It's his second time, so Kevin played. Those they ran into some stuff, surprisingly. Just, hey, we're gonna go in that direction, see what happens, and yeah, found a cave, almost killed another character. Anyways, it's going well. If you're interested, let me know. I don't know if I'm going to put up dates. I may just say, hey, I'm available this week. What do you guys want to get together? And whoever's got the biggest party, we can just like roll. My days during the week are like fairly flexible. So anyways, I'm glad for everybody turning out today. Thank you so much. Be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Hey, if you haven't given a thumbs up, we didn't do that the whole episode. So if you stuck around and you're still here, help a brother out. That would be greatly appreciated. Some might have bounced and forgot to do that. I'll have to go and track them down and see if they could do that. Anyways, I play some games and take some time to yourself. And I'll hope to see you next week at 8 a.m. Central Time, U.S. here on Saturdays, where I stream and talk about RPG stuff, mostly what's released and what's out there and what's crowdfunding. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. See you on the next one.